get ready for some mind-blowing political corruption.
À son Excellence Monsieur Juan Orlando Hernández Alvarado, Président de la République du Honduras.
This is the two-term president of Honduras. Until recently, he was the darling of Washington for his cooperation in the war on drugs. Support came from both sides of the American political divide, including Presidents Donald Trump and Joe Biden, Mike Pence and Hillary Clinton. It was handshakes and thumbs up all around. A roster of political, military, policing, and diplomatic officials all joined in to rally behind Juan Orlando Hernández. He even visited the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration's headquarters, which is pretty much ground zero in the war on drugs. Hernández must have been absolutely screaming with laughter inside, because during all that time, for each of those meetings, and long before in fact, he was the most invasive and treacherous narco in the region. A drug kingpin, and a real one too, with a major presence in international trafficking, even in league with El Chapo, the most notorious narco in the world. The Mob reporter here with news of a national president who helped build and protect a key cocaine route, using all the power of the state, its military, police, politicians, and prisons, and how he was finally convicted this month, not in his own country, but in New York City, for paving a cocaine highway to the United States. Let me tell you about it. Juan Orlando Hernández, 55, took the stand in his own defense in a Manhattan courtroom in March 2024. He apparently wore the same suit in the witness box as he did to his second inauguration as president of Honduras. What a fall from grace that symbolizes, but the two are perfectly related. Yes, he was an elected president of Honduras, a Central American country of about 10 million people, but in the vernacular of traditional organized crime, Hernández was the boss of a crime family. His brother Tony was a congressman, but was also his underboss. The head of the National Police Force was his deadly enforcer. This guy's nickname is El Tigre, meaning the tiger, suggesting the ferociousness of his bite. Geography is what makes Honduras attractive to the cartels. It has ports on the Pacific Ocean on one side and the Caribbean Sea on the other. And it's the midpoint in the journey from Colombia, the major source of cocaine, to Mexico, its primary distributor. When Hernández took charge of the country, he ensured a massive flow of cocaine to the United States, creating a de facto narco state. That is the cocaine highway prosecutors described to the jury. It's a whole other kind of crazy. 2 weeks after Hernández left office, his home was surrounded by local police and U.S. DEA agents who came to arrest him. He was led away in shackles and handcuffs with a bulletproof vest draped around him. He was wanted in the U.S. for massive drug trafficking, for helping 500 tons of cocaine flow north from South America. In Honduras, politics and crime blended seamlessly. And at the former president's trial, the ugly truth of power, corruption, and lies was revealed by former traffickers who helped him. Alexander Ardon was a Honduran narco who worked with Mexico's powerful Sinaloa cartel. He admitted to ordering 56 murders. Ardon testified that he used drug money to buy votes to become mayor and then juggled his municipal duties with murder, drugs, guns, and torture. Here's one of his houses. Not bad for a small-town mayor. Now serving time in prison in the United States, Ardon was a star witness at Hernández's trial. The jury was shown this photograph of Hernández with his arm around the narco during happier times. He said he passed along $1 million to Hernández from El Chapo himself to help his presidential bid, in return for his protection of El Chapo's cartel once Hernández was elected. In honor of the arrangements, hammered out through the president's brother, Tony, a load of El Chapo's cocaine was embossed with Tony's initials, TH, said Ardon. Here's one of the bricks. Ardon said each of his trucks carried 1,500 kilos of coke across the country, guarded by members of Honduras National Police. Of the 250 tons of coke that he moved, he said, not one brick was stopped during Hernández's 2 terms as president. Hernández even had the government pave the roads around Ardon's town to make it easier for the cocaine convoys. Ardon said he asked for one of his narco rivals, a man named Franklin Arita, to be killed. Hernández assigned the hit to a Honduran police officer identified as Juan Carlos Bonilla Valladares, known as El Tigre. He killed Arita with a bazooka, not long after El Tigre was promoted to head of the national police. He proved he had the right credentials. Another once powerful narco also ratted on Hernández. Dais Leonel Rivera Maradiaga was leader of the Los Treacherous cartel. He admitted to 78 murders and massive cocaine smuggling. He ran it with his brother, Javier. He said he paid handsomely to the Hernández family to protect his cocaine empire. Most major narcos in the country did. The trafficker said he moved 130 tons of cocaine with army soldiers and cops escorting his trucks, and sometimes by members of the MS-13 gang. Rivera had trust issues. He secretly videoed a meeting he had with Tony inside a Denny's restaurant. You see Tony sitting across from him here. The trafficker said he bribed politicians in all of the country's major parties, including some still in positions of power. The jury was shown a photograph of Hernández hanging out at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa with one of the bosses of the Baji cartel. Rivera said he'd seen that photo before. It was a boss of the Baji who showed it to him. Hernández suggested his face had been photoshopped. Another witness at the trial was Fabio Lobo. He had a special perspective. He is both the son of Porfirio Lobo, the president of Honduras in power before Hernández, and also a busy narco. Fabio Lobo admitted his dad was dirty. He said both administrations were built on cocaine. Lobo told the jury he went with Tony Hernández to a gas station to pick up $4 million in bribe money for the president, all of it in US $100 bills. Lobo was made a judge. Another trial witness was a former deputy commissioner of the Honduran National Police. Like the others, he was also a narco. He was using a new name, but is known in his homeland as Mario Mejia Barraga. Early in his policing career, he was caught stealing 143 kilos of coke, but after his jail sentence, he returned to the force and was quickly promoted. It seems loyalty to the narcos, or Hernández, was the best credentials you could have. Barraga said he gave sensitive police information to the narcos and guarded their cocaine convoys, carrying an M16 rifle. He was involved in the killing of an anti-drug prosecutor and in a conspiracy to kill another. His police buddy, who was a cousin of the Hernández brothers, promised him that the president would protect them. Barraga said once at Tony Hernández's house he saw bundles of money stacked in a mountain on the floor. It rose as high as his belt. By then it was hard to hide the Hernández family's drug trafficking. While arresting a sitting head of state seemed beyond the pale, the president's brother Tony was the next best thing. In 2018, while he was visiting Miami, Tony was arrested and charged for cocaine smuggling. Here's Tony being questioned by the DEA when he was directly asked about the bricks of cocaine stamped with his initials.
¿En qué está eso? No, pues eso es un kilo o paquete de...
Juan Orlando Hernández took the stand in his own defense and denied the accusations. He told jurors he was an honest man who hit the narcos hard, and now they were lying to get their revenge. Outside of the Manhattan courthouse, Honduran expats watched and waited, in protest of their former president, and with hopes of a better future. When he was found guilty on all charges, they celebrated a rare win. Political corruption at the high levels rarely gets punished like it should. Now he faces a minimum prison sentence of 40 years and a maximum of life. Meanwhile, in Honduras, Hernández's wife, Ana Garcia Carrillas, announced her plan to run for president in the country's 2025 election. Please give this video a like and leave a comment to juice the algorithm. Make sure you're subscribed and tap the thanks button to leave me a tip. That all helps keep my fire burning. Thanks for watching to the end.